and gents. I'm actually just coming. Here I'm going with my foibles here. I'm actually doing a small little review. I actually purchased this not too long ago. It's a mini body cam that I actually picked up at Amazon itself directly this past week around Wednesday or Thursday. I've actually ordered it on Tuesday. And it's no bigger than this. Like a pack of almost, how can I just put it into Swiss? A little bit over 1.5 size of an electric lighter or a gas powered lighter. It does 1080p at 30 frames a second. It did come with a 64 gigabyte micro SD card and a 750 milliamp battery. When fully charged up, it should do anywhere between 6 and 8 hours worth of recordings on it. And these are mainly used for body cams, as an example, like if you're in security or you're using this to do presentations, things like that. A whole wide variety of things. I did actually still have the packaging here from it, and it says that it's for traffic enforcement, conference training, classroom recordings, business negotiations, interview recordings, running, cycling, so on and so forth. They'll give you so many other examples of what you can do with this. I just bought this for personal use, and sometimes I like to go out to these places like hot rod shows, as an example, where you have nice cars, things like that, things of that nature. So I figure something like this would be great to have. It's not too expensive. I paid about $60 on Amazon with this. There was an option to pick up a 128 gigabyte micro SD card to go with it, but I bought actually one locally at Best Buy, an Lexar micro SD card. This one here, when I was reading through the manual, since it did come with a 64 gigabyte micro SD card, the manual says that you can actually go up to as high as a 256 gigabyte micro SD card. So it's good up to 256 gigs. The 128 that I did buy is also from Lexar, and it works very nicely. It took me a little while when going through the menuing system on it to get it properly configured the way I want it to be configured. So mostly if I'm recording a lot of things, like as an example, I had actually gone to get my car washed on the exterior side. So I wanted to test this here out when I was actually out today. And the recordings are fairly decent on it. And I'll give that credit where credit is due. Even at 30 frames per second, which is perfectly fine for me, since I'm only using one eye at a time, and I switch manually between the two eyes. So, because of my Marcus gun, again, because of my eyes, which I have Marcus gun on, and this works fairly well. And I recorded some footage, and I'm going to definitely show you that I have. And this here is actually because I have on here where you may not see it directly on the camera. Here we go. Where it actually has a hook on it, so you can actually attach it to, like I'm wearing a safety, almost like a safety vest, like what they use at the construction sites. So you can definitely attach this to your person, like on a vest, as an example. Or if you have pockets on your shirt, you can definitely put it on there. I leave it on the vest because that one there is on top of everything else, and it fits nice and snugly there. And I've used it for about an hour or two on it, and like I said, it works fairly well, fairly decent. I did configure it up to just recently before where it won't record any sound on it, which is perfectly fine, because especially when you're driving into, let's say as an example, you're driving into a car wash, an automated car wash, and you don't want to hear the sounds of flushing, this and that and everything else. So that there is definitely a bonus point, which I did do automatically when I had left it as it was. For me, that I usually will do that manually myself, especially when I'm doing recordings, whether I want to have it with or without sound. When I'm doing it, like when I'm doing something more technical, where I don't want to have any voiceovers or anything of that nature, like when I'm recording something, I'd rather turn it off and do a voiceover on the backside, so that way I add that into the video itself. But you can leave the sound on in this and still record it, but how clearly will it be, I'm not too sure. So bear in mind, sometimes the microphones on these things are not as good. I've tried to listen to it. It looked like it sounded okay, but again, I'm not no expert on it, okay? But for 59 bucks, I cannot complain. I will eventually get a 256 and try it with a 256 from Lexar, just to see if there are any huge differences in regarding the size, besides the size being a lot greater than the 128, because it's almost double the size. But for something like this, this is definitely worth getting if you do a lot of recording outside, like not in the house per se, but if you do a lot of recordings outside, like if you're going to a car show, or you're going to an air show as an example, where you want to be able to do some type of recording of some sort. It doesn't have to be at 4K resolution. 1080p at 30 frames should be more than enough regarding it. And I mean, this is my honest opinion about it too. 1080p should be more than enough for any type of recording that you want to display nowadays. 4K is a little bit pushing it a little bit further. I know we do have body cams, camcorders that run in 4K, but that's a lot more data that you're actually editing with. Okay, so keep that in mind. And not all software will go up to 4K. Some will go up to a maximum of 1080p. I'm using a video editor myself, which is called OpenShot, which is open sourced for both Mac, Windows, and Linux. I've actually gotten into using open source, like OpenShot as an example, along with another application that actually works with it. And I'm just trying to find it here. It's actually another application that I'm trying to think of. I just can't think of the name right now. It's one that does the titling on it. So that one happens to work well with OpenShot. So again, what I am going to do here is also add in the 2 samples that I did, because I actually went down to where was it? Walmart? No, not Walmart. It was actually Maxi. I had to get something at Maxi, I believe. No, not even Maxi. It was at, yeah, it was at Maxi. It was something for something. Yeah, it was at Maxi, actually. Sorry. Maxi completely. And I had to get some milk and a couple other things over there. So I picked up some stuff there and got that. Got the things that I wanted to get there. Drove out. Now, as for this being on my body, especially when you're driving and all that, this here won't be able to go up and above. For something like that, I would definitely get into more of a dash cam for the cars, where it's actually suction cupped to the window and you can display it out viewing the recordings. That's more or less that's what that's good for. This is something good on the person if you're away from the car and all that. This is something I would definitely keep around, since the resolution's a lot better at 1080p and at 4K. But 4K, I'm not even too concerned with. 1080p is more than enough. And for 59 bucks and a micro SD card to do what you want with it, it helps. And with in the box itself that they give you here with it, just to give you an example, this is the box that they give you with. It already comes with a lanyard on it. It does include a 64, which is by default what it comes with. It comes with a lanyard, 64 gigabytes of micro SD card, and it does come with a small stand as well. So you can actually use it as a webcam or something that you can actually place on the table and work with it. So you can do, like I said, audio recordings, like what you would be doing for Audacity, as an example. You can actually import it into Audacity and make your podcast with it, or an interview via voice. So that's a good thing about something like that. And for something like this, I can't say it. It's just a good little thing. The charging time going from a dead, like almost dead or almost completely dead, to full charge is about 2 hours. Now, when I got this, it wasn't fully charged. It was almost there. It was like maybe at 75%. So I did plug it into a USB port that I had on the computer, let it charge it up all the way, because I had one of those external USB powers plugged in, and just charged up the rest, so that way it's a full charge on it. And like I said, I'm going to try to do work with this all day, like at least 6 to 8 hours, and see how well it works. And if it works great and records fantastic, then I'm well into keeping this around. It's just something that I wanted to try out, because I've always seen this available, and especially when you see on YouTube and all that, that they're using their personal phones for recording and all that. I mean, it does come in handy having a phone, and it does basically the same thing. Transferring it from here onto your computer, whether it's via USB or via Bluetooth, it's a pain in the Budutski. And also sliding it out from here and trying to make a transfer, and hopefully it records. But unless it's on the internal micro SD card, it's kind of harder to do, because it's more likely saved locally, internally on the phone itself. But with this here, is actually recorded into the micro SD card directly. So I'm more likely going to use this for my recordings when I bring it with me, so it'll make it that much easier to work with. And especially I have OpenShot with, on my personal desktop here, which happens to be a Lenovo M710Q with 32 gigs of RAM, a 2 terabyte SSD drive, a 2 terabyte NVMe drive, and I have no complaints running Windows or Linux on it. So that's the one thing I like about the M710Q, because it's very popular, very flexible, especially using with either operating system. So let me drop in the recording of the 2 sample recordings I have when it was out earlier the last couple of days, just so you have an idea. I'll more likely fast forward through it so that way you get an idea. And please excuse, especially when I was in Maxi, which is the grocery store locally by, I tend to kind of waddle left to right, so it's not a stable picture because it was actually hanging on my vest. I wasn't actually holding it in my hand. You can hold it in your hand to do the recordings for stabilization on it. But in most cases, like if you're like me, who tends to be a slightly, how can I say, fluffy is the word that I'm thinking of. we tend to waddle a lot. So just bear in mind, if you're standing still and you're holding it and you're actually doing what you want to do with it, and it does come with a little screen as well on it. A 1.4-inch screen, color, and the color is great. It also does night vision as well. That's basically about it. I'll put the two up, put that together, and I'll put some music to it so that way you guys don't get bored of hearing whatever was in the background when I mute it. So that way you guys have a chance to actually enjoy something. And I'll provide the link in the description below so that way if you want to get it, at least you know where you can get it through Amazon. And I have no affiliation with anything on Amazon at all, so just to let you guys know, this is something that you may be interested if you are interested in something like this. And who knows, you just may have fun with it. That's what I'm just doing with it, just to have a good time. Most stores, and just be aware of it too, okay? Most places, especially when you're at a local shopping center, or if you're in stores, as an example, they don't like people really recording in their places of work. Please be aware of that, because you might just get in trouble because you have something like this on your person, and they don't like people doing that. Okay, so be careful. If you can, speak with the store owner, get their permission first if you can actually record in there. Sometimes they'll say it's never a problem because they sometimes encourage something like that, so that way they can bring your business into them. Other places do mind, so be very wary about that as well, okay? Because I know certain places are very, very not kind regarding to that, okay? I had one actually speak with me when I was actually taking a picture of a simple Christmas tree at a local mall, and they were thinking I was taking a picture of some kid, okay? And I wasn't. I was taking a picture of a Christmas tree during the time I was there, because it was Christmas time, okay? And that's why I'm very careful, especially in shopping centers, with something like this, because you never know the people around you who are trying to be mean and paying you the badutskis, okay? So be aware of it. I want you guys to be careful out there too, not only for my sake, but for your sake as well. Let's take a look at those two clips.
Video recording.
We're taking a car wash. Oh, they can do those with soap and wax and soap. those were the two videos that I was actually was able to actually shoot, as you saw. And sorry about my thing here. I had to readjust it. I took by accident took the recorder off, so I had to readjust the focus and all that again. Anyhow, that's the video that I had from the actual body cam. Like I said, I'm going to release the. I'm going to give you the actual web address through Amazon that you can actually purchase it if you do have an Amazon account. Like I said, once again, it's been a good little camcorder that I have. I have never had a problem with it so far for the last couple of days. I'm going to try to see if I can actually record the full 8 hours. What I might do is I'll set it up for curiosity's sake as well. I do have another tripod that I can actually hook it up to and actually put it out the window and just let it record until the battery runs dead to see the amount of time it takes to fill up a 128 gigabyte drive. If it does take 6 to 8 hours, or it might take probably 7. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 6 or 7 hours. And it's just for the fun of it. I'll be definitely try bringing it along with me elsewhere, like when I'm actually outside, so that way I have something with me instead of having just my regular camera on my phone, because of the recordings as well, and have some fun with it. For things like this, when it's outside in the public area, like out on the streets, it should be no problems at all bringing that with me. So it's just for the fun. And rating this here out of 4. I'm rating this 5 out of 5 stars. It being really good, but like I said, it took me a little while, being a technician like I am, to get used to the configuration, the way it's configured. And I want you guys to be aware of it too. When you are configuring something like this, make sure you go through it and you choose the right ones and go through it. It took me a little while to see how they had it set up, because every system that I've gone through is set up differently, like for dash cams, webcams, body cams, in this case like this. And it's just, it's amazing how you tend to learn very quickly here. So have yourself a great day. I'll catch you next time.